Hi, everybody. You have Donnie from Eterneva here. Alicia of the Dead Moms Club will join us any moment now, so I'll give her a minute to hop online before I let her into the live. Awesome. Hello. Hi. So, everyone that's joining, hello, Steve. We have an amazing guest today. We have here Alicia Forneret. Am I saying this correctly? Alicia Forneret of Dead Moms Club. She is the founder and the host of Motherless Mother's Day, which is an event that's going to be happening for the rest of this week. But in the spirit of, this being a more challenging time for people, especially with stay-at-home places in order, we thought it'd be great to just get online, say hello to everybody, and see how you're all doing. As well as talking a little bit about, what Alicia's doing as well. So I would love if you could introduce yourself and, just tell them a little bit about what you've been up to this week.
Yeah, so good to see you. And hello, everyone. My name is Lisa, and like she said, I'm the founder of the Dead Moms Club. Definitely not the first person to join, but someone who has started building some work around us being able to deal with the fact that when our mom dies, we sort of join this club. And, I always say it's not a club that you want to join, but it is a club that some of us join early, and unique support systems for people who are in situations like me have been really incredible for my own grief. So as a part of the work that I do, like you said, I run Motherless Mother's Day, which is a virtual event series this year. Normally it's in person, but it'll be a virtual event series this year, focused on 32 different ways over 3 days that people can support themselves through their grief through this particularly hard weekend. In addition to that, I'm a writer by trade, so I run a blog called Grief is Hard AF. I also create resources like ebooks and tip sheets and checklists for people who are grieving or supporting someone in their life.
Yeah. You're already getting so many positive comments.
Yeah.
That's truly amazing. I think it's absolutely wonderful that this resource is even available and this community is available for people. It's fascinating. I think we're almost 2 months into this series, and something that I feel like keeps coming up with grief is that when you experience grief with people that are kind of in the same place of you, that's a really amazing support system. Is that kind of how it's felt like since you've started Dead Moms Club? Is that kind of giving you the lift that you need or help? Or I would love to know more about that.
Yeah. So it definitely was born out of when my mom died, someone telling me, "Oh, you're in the club now." And I was like, I don't, in the beginning, I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know why it would feel different. And I realized really quickly that there were going to be things that I experienced later on in life, and as I navigated grief after my mom's death, that were going to be really unique to not having my mom around as a motherless daughter. So, one of the things was navigating my wedding without my mom around. In the future, I know it's going to be very different to navigate having kids without my mom around. And so it's been really important specifically to connect with people through resources and conversations and events like Motherless Mother's Day, where you feel supported about a very specific loss that you have, that I think is very unique.
Yeah. And to everyone that's joining, this is Alicia. She's the founder of the Dead Moms Club. I think the fact that you're providing these resources and gathering a community that's doing it like this is amazing. Just in general, like how, some people are always kind of feel pressure, I think, around the holidays, especially when you've experienced some sort of grief, and because it's a holiday or it's a time that you want to be with people. How have you gotten better at kind of acknowledging some of the pressures and the thoughts that pop up during this time?
Yeah, I wrote about that in my newsletter this morning. I have honestly gotten better at it because people like my husband or my dad or my friends point out signs that they see when I'm experiencing stress or overwhelm or burnout. And it's made it easier for me to identify what it is that I am struggling with and how to deal with it. I think, like, for example, I work a lot. I work a full-time job. I do all of my grief work. I volunteer. I'm on boards. And I think one of the things that has become really important is having someone in my life flag for me, like, you need to just shut your computer today. Like, you need to just take a walk right now. And, you know, when I have someone point that out in me, I can sit there and say, okay, what is it that I'm doing right now to make it clear that I am dealing with something and that I need to like take a break. Then having other people point it out has made it easier for me to identify that within myself. And so I'm getting better at knowing, okay, I need to take a break before somebody has to tell me it's 10 p.m. You need to turn off your computer. That's, you know, just relying on other people in my life to help me navigate my grief has been incredibly, incredibly important. And I think also I am a list person. That is something that has translated hugely into my grief. I make lists about things that make me feel good so that when I feel really overwhelmed, I can go back to that list and pick something off of it. I made lists when I had to plan my mom's funeral after she died. I make lists for all of my newsletters about resources that might help other people. Like it, making lists and finding some control while navigating my grief has been hugely helpful for me.
Yeah. Oh, that resonates. So, I mean, that resonates so hard. Telling yourself when to stop, because I have that problem, like regardless of any situation. And I think a lot of us do. And to all of you that are out there, even when you're done watching this, put your phone aside, maybe go for a walk or jump. But also, for those of you that have questions, we're happy to answer them. You have one. You said you answered the question, but I'll repeat it anyway, just so everyone else could see. When did you start to find strength after your mom passed? And you know what? You actually gave us a lot of that wisdom at once, but I also, like, that process must have taken some time too. You know, I'm sure it's not overnight that you're like, oh, like this is how it happens. Like, how did you kind of find yourself like getting to those new rituals or routines, you know, being able to make a list and go back to it, you know? Was there any sort of catalyst or someone that helped you in that regard?
Yeah, I mean, it did take a while. Like right after my mom died, you know, I spent a lot of time on the couch watching Gilmore Girls, like drinking whiskey, just sort of processing things at my dad's house. There was a lot of those days and weeks and months, and there were times where I would return to that just because it felt, you know, comforting and comfortable for me. But eventually, I think what helped me find strength, when I think about strength, is finding the power that I needed to draw boundaries around my actions and boundaries around my time. That's something I was thinking a lot about this week. Is the strength for me came from being able to say, like, please reach out to me when I need support, to my friends, or being able to say to someone, I actually don't have the energy to go back to work right now, or I don't have the energy or the, you know, the mental capacity to be able to go away for a weekend with a bunch of my friends or something. And being able to say no and draw those boundaries was a huge realization for me that I had power and control over, you know, how overwhelmed I was getting while I was grieving. And that has allowed me today to be like, this is my list of things I need to do. When I feel something, I need to do them. Or these are the list of things that really don't make me feel good. Whenever somebody asks me to do one of those things, I've identified the fact that, like, I can say no sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I see we had quite a few people join. You had a lot of likes when you were talking about the burnout, drawing boundaries, taking a break. So clearly all this is resonating right now.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's hard for many of us. Like, taking boundaries takes, so at least in my experience, like even drawing my own boundaries took a long time to set up. And yeah, we shouldn't feel guilty about it too. But it's not easy, you know, it takes time to give yourself permission. Do you feel that it was having, you know, a support group, or did it just take time to start giving yourself permission? I know that's such a simple question, but I feel like so many of us constantly wonder, how do we draw these boundaries? How do we just learn to say, you know, enough?
Yeah, it definitely took time. It's not like my mom died and I was like, okay, I'm ready. Like, I'm ready to take on the world. Yeses, nos. I know where the lines are. I would say, especially to the point about not feeling guilty about it, I think that's one of the things that I struggled with most, because when someone reaches out to you, for example, and they say like, I want to support, I'm here, like we can talk anytime. It felt at first really hard to say like, no, I don't need to talk to you right now, or I don't want to talk to you right now, or yeah, I'll let you know when I need some support, but I don't necessarily need it right now. And you can feel guilty saying no to someone who's trying to offer you something that's meant to be like well-intentioned and thoughtful, and positive. And so it definitely took me a while to figure out how to say no, but in a way that was a reflection of, I'm taking care of myself. And at the end of the day, what you should want is for me to be taken care of, whether that's jumping on the phone right now with you or not. And so finding a way to not feel that guilt, like it took time. But I think when I frame it in my mind as being able to say no while taking care of myself, and also not putting my friend in a position of me having a conversation with them just because I feel guilty, it's incredibly important.
Oh my God, yes, that is so everything that you said had so many pieces in it when you because I've been that person where I'm here for you if you want to talk, and it just and people and I think sometimes they want something specific. So if I'm like, I can come over right now with a plate of pasta, they're like, okay, yes, because I kind of took some decision making and pressure out of it. And at the same time, you don't want them to feel guilty because they don't know what they want to talk about. I think sometimes it's hard when we offer support and then it overwhelms them from the other end, which I think makes so much sense. It's so overwhelming. So
yeah, and I think to the comment that just came through, the people who understand you and care for you and just want the best for you will not hold it against you if you tell them, I don't this is just not what I need right now.
Yeah.
And they're the same people, hopefully, when you do need something, they're the ones that will be there and say, okay, whatever it is, you just need to tell me or we can figure it out together. So yeah. I think that's a great point.
No, yeah, 100% with it. And it's also, with it being Mental Health Awareness Month, it's always important to realize that, we've seen boundaries like mental health and self-care boundaries as a negative thing because people react to our boundaries negatively. Mm-hmm. But if we kind of think about it, that the people who are there for you, respect those boundaries, it really, I think, helps flip it into a more caring and compassionate point of view instead of you just being like, no, because I think that's kind of the stigma that's been attached to boundaries this whole time. And maybe it was called something else that stigmatized it even more, but that could be.
Yeah, I think it is saying no means that you're wholly rejecting someone. I think that's how it can be perceived. And in my mind, it's that if you make it clear that you're appreciative of their efforts, being honest with them is really all that matters at the end of the day. And if I don't need pasta and you want to bring over pasta, I should be able to say I don't need pasta right now, but thank you for reaching out. And also do you want to watch a movie on Netflix later this week? This is what actually will help me. This is what I actually need. And I can tell that you want to help right now. So let's find a way where both of us can have our needs met.
I love that. I love that's how it's framed now. It's how can you just openly communicate that your needs are getting met? Because I think that really sums it up perfectly. And sometimes people stalemate each other in communications because maybe they're not saying what they really need. Or this is definitely a projection because I stalemate myself sometimes in communication when I don't say or I'm too scared to say what I need. So I think that's very beautifully said. You guys are awesome in the comments, by the way. Just so you know, Alicia is hosting for the next few days a virtual event online, and it's Motherless Mother's Day. Alicia, I would love if you could talk about it a little bit more for people, especially who need support in this time or throughout the weekend. What are some resources and talks that you'll be having throughout the next few days?
Yeah, it is going to be a wild weekend. Just for some context, I have run this before in person, very small, intimate gathering. People come, we do something, something physical. We do a little chat. We do some sort of crafting thing or hands-on, and then just eat a lot of food and, you know, drink really great drinks. So this year, it's expanded a lot, but the intention is still the same. And it is to create space for people to grieve however they need to and to find support however they need to. So over the course of Friday, Saturday, and Sunday this coming weekend, we are honestly, we're doing everything that I could think of. We are going to be hosting movement events. So that includes everything from yoga to Pilates. We're running yoga in both in English, Spanish, and French for people who are grieving. Yeah, it's so exciting.
Wow.
I'm just gonna get really excited and like geek out about all of this right now. So we're doing that. We have Pilates. We're having a Learn to Vogue workshop. We have some other people from the queer community teaching different kinds of strength classes. We are also doing breath work and then some more in-depth like workshops for grief yoga that last a couple of hours. We're also doing some author talks with people who've published books specifically about grief or very specifically about losing your mom. So we have Ty Alexander coming on to talk about her book, Things I Wish I Knew Before My Mom Died. Dr. Joanne Cacciatore, who's going to be talking to me about her book, Bearing the Unbearable. And then we've got some more creative stuff. So we're actually doing one thing I'm really excited about. Shayna Garfield from Leaves With You will be hosting a ritual macrame workshop. So she takes people through a practice of learning how to weave and do macrame while also meditating on memories of your loved one and using prompts to meditate while you're actually tying the ropes. Okay, so I'm just going to keep going. I'll give you a couple. We're doing 2 different panels over the weekend. Saturday, there's one specifically focused on mental health and grief with Rachel back at Grief, What's Your Grief? And then also Dr. Kelsey Crow and a couple others that'll be joining us. In addition to that, we're also doing a panel, which I'm super excited about, on Mother's Day, specifically focused on parenting and parenting after you've lost your mom. So I'm like so stoked to have guests like Hope Edelman and Claire Bidwell-Smith, who have been writing and working in this field of mother loss for a very long time. And in addition to that, Megan Carmichael, who does work in the death and parenting space, as well as Susan Liu, who wrote a play called 140 Pounds about losing her mom. And she just had her baby a couple of weeks ago and was touring her play about her dead mom while she was pregnant. And so I'm just, the people that are going to be joining me this weekend are incredible. And I'm so grateful. And so, you know, we're doing live podcast recordings. We'll also be recording Shelby's podcast coming back, and she'll be interviewing Cheryl Strayed, which is really exciting.
Wow.
And then, so that's like, those are all the people that are going to be having great conversations. And then we're also doing stuff like cooking demos. So if you just need to come and learn how to cook something with somebody and, you know, have a unique experience this weekend and sort of, you know, for me, like, distract yourself while doing something nourishing, there are going to be activities for that kind of engagement and interaction as well.
Wow. I mean, for you guys like that, she just listed just the most incredible list of things from, you know, meditation to grief workshops to yoga to cooking classes in 3 different things in 3 different languages. Like that's, I mean, you're incredible. The people you're talking to are incredible. For everyone that's joined, this is Alicia Forneret. She's the founder of Dead Moms Club and hosting Motherless Mother's Day, May 8th through 10th, so this weekend. Please go check out her profile. You are doing absolutely amazing work. I will 100% be joining. She's, for those of you who are listening, these are just wow. You know, she's talking to famous authors, amazing people in the industry. Like, it's like, if you need support or community or literally anything, even a distraction, this sounds like the place to be this weekend. So, I mean, I'm so happy for you and proud of you, and you're doing really amazing work. So thank you so much for joining us here and, you know, talking with these lovely people too.
Of course. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. And we'll continue to share out all these resources. So keep up. We'll remind you about all these events that are happening this weekend. So for anyone else experiencing a motherless Mother's Day or not, and just need some grief support, you know, come on down and we're going to go over to Alicia's page and, you know, have some fun over there. So thank you so much and have, you know, just a wonderful week.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Bye, everybody.
Bye.